Today's episode of The Sit Down with Scott Dion Brown is brought to you by Jennifer C. at HomeLifeCultureLink.com, Nino Simeka at MortgageGodfather.ca, and Jewelry Forever at JewelryForever.ca. Enjoy the show.
Broadcasting live from Glenmore Record Studios in Toronto, this is The Sit Down with Scott Dion Brown, your Sunday morning talk show with interesting guests, live musical performances, and the most fun you can fit in your coffee cup. Hosted by Scott Dion Brown and Regine Alaina, this is The Sit Down with Scott Dion Brown.
Good morning, ladies and gentlemen, and welcome to episode 132 of The Sit Down with Scott Dion Brown, and I am your host, the one, the only, Scott Dion Brown. Today I'm decked out in my Toronto Maple Leafs garb. Why? Because, well, it's playoff time, everybody. The Leafs played Game 2 against the Montreal Canadiens. First time they have faced off against Montreal in a playoff series since 1979. But because of this strange pandemic season we're having, they reshifted everything. And so here they are. Leafs Montreal, the classic forever rivals, battling it out. And they're currently tied at 1 game apiece after the Leafs' thrilling victory last night. Joss54, what's going on? Welcome to the stream. DUR have stupid. Hello, Scooter. Hello. DUR have stupid. Hello. Welcome. And welcome to you all to this week's episode of The Sit Down. And I am joined, as always, by the greatest co-host in the galaxy. The one. The only.
Regine Alaina. Happy Sunday, everyone. Scott, I wish you gave me a heads up that you were going to do that, because my ear just went, whoa, what was that? That was really loud.
Oh, was I really loud?
Just
yeah, I went and sang the well, actually they still play that song on TSN, but that used to be the Hockey Night in Canada song. I don't know if you recognize it, Regine, but that's the Hockey Night in Canada song.
But it really was. Warn a girl before you do that.
I got excited. You know what? It was one of those things. I wasn't able to warn you because I didn't know myself that it was coming. But
got it. Well, hello. Go Leafs, go.
Go Leafs, go. How was your week, Regine?
It was good. Okay, so I can actually talk about it now that it's been out there online. Galaxy Internationals is postponed another year. So you got to keep calling me the greatest co-host in all the galaxy until July 2022.
I mean, it'll probably continue beyond July 2022, but yeah, I guess you're probably pretty annoyed about it.
I mean, I understand why it's been pushed back with the pandemic and, you know, women all over the country or all over the world going to the States does not seem like the safest thing right now. So I understand. I'm not mad. No hard feelings.
Yeah. Just the realities of the situation. Well, that's the thing I noticed. One of the film festivals that I went to, I guess it would have been 2 years ago now. They've sent out. They're starting to accept film submissions, and they've announced that they're planning for September for there to be an in-person convention again. But they're thinking diminished capacity, and again, I guess still things are all up in the air because it's in the U.S. It's in Indiana, I think, and you know, so like even if it's open and they're you know allowing people to come, like I don't know if will people from Canada be able to go? Will I be able to go? You know.
I mean, you technically can. Like, you can go to the States whenever you want. It's just a matter, are you willing to quarantine afterwards and put yourself at risk?
Yeah, I mean that's the thing. And I mean, in terms of like quarantining, when you go there, you don't have to. We'd have to quarantine when we get back. Is that what you mean?
I'm not sure. I think, well, the States is pretty much open, right? So it's really up to you if you want to quarantine for a few days before you go out. But coming back in, you have to quarantine regardless. Yeah.
I mean, I wouldn't go unless I'm fully vaccinated. So I've got my first shot. I don't have my second one yet, but I think by then I would. But I don't know. I mean, I guess we're still waiting. I'm still waiting to see what it's going to look like in, 3-4 months, whether or not things really fall off and really go back to normal, or if who knows, but I'm cautiously optimistic, Regine. I'm cautiously optimistic.
No, I feel you. Like, Galaxy Canada is still happening. So regardless, my title will be given away to somebody else, and I will have a new title in August. So stay tuned.
Yes, exactly. We're getting through it. We're figuring it out. You know what's something that kind of happened that was cool is so I got an iPad recently, and
wait, you got an Apple product? Mr. BlackBerry is the safest way to go.
It still is, but I the iPad is specifically for digital art, which is what I got it for.
Liar.
And I will say, drawing with the Apple Pencil. What a delight, Regine.
Oh, you went all out, eh? You got an iPad, you got the Apple Pencil. What's next? An Apple Watch? Ooh, an iPhone. An iPhone's next.
It seems it's pretty unlikely I'll ever own an iPhone, but I will say, drawing with the pencil, like, it's so intuitive and nice. I got it because I've been thinking about it for quite a while, about sort of getting back to drawing again, just because there are things that I can do for, like, even on my channel, like creating like logos and stuff for merch, and just like, and even thumbnails for YouTube videos. Like, I wanted something that I could just very intuitively create stuff. And I finally got the iPad. Anyway, so one thing I was experimenting with is I drew a picture of Red Sonja. I don't know if you're familiar with who Red Sonja is, Regina. Have you heard of Red Sonja? I
have not, but I saw it on your Instagram.
Yeah, she's like a comic book hero. She's from the same universe as like Conan the Barbarian. I don't know if you know Conan.
No, you're just naming names.
Well, Conan the Barbarian is another classic comic book hero, barbarian. He cuts people down with his sword, and Red Sonja does the same. She likes to cut people down with her sword. But anyway, I drew a picture of her, kind of as an experiment practice, and the official Red Sonja Instagram shared it. They shared the picture. Yeah,
fancy.
So yeah, it's pretty cool. In fact, hang on, I want to show it. I have it here. There it is, everybody.
Of course.
There is my image of the she-devil with the sword, Red Sonja, charging into battle with her sword and shield, and she's ready to go.
And how long did it take you to do this?
A long time. It was like I mean, I'm not sure, hours and hours and hours. It was basically all of my free time. I'd sit at the couch and I was working on it. And like when I went to pick up groceries and I'm waiting in the car and I'm drawing. That's the thing I like about it is you can bring it with you. You can draw anywhere. So it was fun. It was experimentation. It was good stuff.
Nice.
And felt good to be shared by the account. I'm like, cool. Thanks, Red Sonja people.
Awesome.
We should meet our guest.
Yes.
Let's bring him in. Our guest today, ladies and gentlemen, is I have a bio, so I'll read that. Whether it's the character arc in a film or hearing a song from start to finish, today's guest story is similar in its trajectory. From the infancy of experimenting with music in his parents' basement, keeping his discipline a secret, to 7 years of him maturing his sound and palette, splicing together the warmth and rawness from cabin-esque folk music with the underbelly of alternative electronic.
Ooh.
He naturally contributes to a generation of artists who are consistently bending the rules, shifting and rearranging the world as they see fit. In an era where being creative is more about aesthetics than the actual art itself, quite simply, today's guest chooses to create because he can.
Oh, that's a good bio.
Yeah. Ladies and
Whoever
gentlemen,
you are.
please give a warm sit-down welcome to Matt Fasullo. Hello.
Hello.
I didn't write that bio, by the way. That was my manager, so I'm not that well spoken.
Well, good job
Oh.
to your manager. Can
It's
your
very
manager write
dramatic.
our bio?
Yeah.
Like,
Yeah, I'm sure he would. I'm sure he would take that up.
that's awesome.
So how you doing? What's going on?
Good. Not much is going on for all of us, actually, probably.
Correct.
Mhm.
But I mean, hey, I'm on here, so that's going on. And I'm just trying to stay healthy, actually.
Yes.
Yeah,
Yeah.
that's a good goal to have. Yeah,
Mhm.
I mean I guess that's what we're all trying to do.
Yeah.
Stay in, stay healthy, and stay away from everyone, which is
Yes.
pretty much that. Yeah.
It's very
Well-
anti-human, you know.
It is.
Mm-hmm.
It's weird.
Mhm.
How have you found the sort of isolation lifestyle? Did you find you took to it well, or did you like? I mean, you
Like, are
described
you
as
an
anti-human,
introvert or
but I'm-
extrovert?
yeah,
I would say that I'm. Is there like a is there like a soft in between? Because I
Probably.
think it depends on the day. Yeah, I think it depends on the day. I can be very quiet and to myself, but I don't know. When I'm with my friends, I can be obnoxious and loud. So
Mhm.
Nice.
I guess I'm a little bit of both. But when it came to the pandemic, I actually was thriving because,
Mm.
as you know, Scott, I play like a lot of video games, and
Huh?
because of that,
Oh,
like,
you're one of those.
unlike my
people.
partner, yeah, I was unable. I didn't really find it difficult to just sit inside all day, and
Mm.
not that it didn't get depressing, which we can touch upon, but
Mhm.
it definitely was kind of my zone. You know, I was like, okay, I mean, people are saying I gotta stay inside. It's no issue at all for me.
Mhm.
Yeah. Awesome. So what kind of games do you play?
Here we go.
You've been waiting. You've been
Here
waiting
we
to ask.
go.
Well, as we mentioned earlier, actually, right at the beginning of this this pandemic, literally right before, this wasn't planned, but I got this thing, this guy.
Oh,
VR.
nice.
So, and the reason why I got it was because I wanted to play Half-Life Alyx.
Yeah.
And I did. And
So
I'm
how
still waiting.
how was that? I watched some streamers playing it.
Yeah.
But I've never actually experienced. Did you feel? I know the biggest thing people say about with VR is the movement part. Is you can kind of feel sick. Did you find that there was an adjustment, or how was it?
There's a slight adjustment. They say you have to grow your VR legs. I don't know if it's grow, but I'll just call it that. You have to get your VR legs, and especially with that game, they developed it so that it because the way locomotion works is if you're moving forward in a straight line for the
Mhm.
most part, you're not going to get nauseous. And the way they design the locomotion in that game is that you're never really going vertical. You're usually just going forward, maybe side to side, depending on the locomotion choice. Yeah, I pretty much it's not that bad. But I had to build a whole new PC to get it running properly, and
Whoa.
yeah, it was a lot of money, but it was totally worth it.
Because you're still
Awesome.
here a year
So-
later.
Yeah.
Yes.
So when you walk with it, so how does it work? So you have two things in your hands, and is there like a
Yes.
joystick that you walk with? Because I've never
Show
actually.
us.
These
Ah,
guys.
okay.
Oh.
Yeah.
And see, I see. There's a joystick there, and that's how you move around.
Yep. Exactly. It's just like it's kind of like the Wii Nunchuck and the Wii Remote, but
I gotcha.
yeah.
So cool. Because I've only used a bit of VR at where was I? I was at the Honda Indy, and they had like a baseball one on display, so
Right.
you can like stand there and hit the ball. And the cool part is like after a few minutes, and there was no movement in this one. But after a few minutes of just standing there looking around, suddenly you forget that you really feel like you're in the world.
Oh yeah, it's pretty insane. And this is not even the top end one. This one's still really damn good, but the best one is the Valve Index, and it's, or at least from what I know, it's the highest resolution one right now, and it's supposed to be like, you know, you have wider peripheral vision too, and it's just like you're actually there. But even in the lower grade ones, you still you completely forget that you're in the room that you're in, which is why people end up falling over or, you know, punching a wall and destroying their TV, because it's like you completely disregard the world around you. Yeah, it's insane.
In fact, what was it like? Because Half-Life. So I don't know if you're not familiar with many games, right, Regine? But the Half-Life series is a very famous series specifically. But it's also known for being kind of creepy. So like, I feel like it must feel like when you think there could be a head crab like crawling around the corner, like it must really feel like it's there with you, right?
Oh, totally. Yeah, and the best part about it, honestly, that you wouldn't expect is the actual sense of scale of things. So when you're playing Half-Life 2, right, you see the head crabs and they look tiny and kind of cute, but they're gross, but they're tiny, right?
Yeah.
They're huge. Like, they're big, and it's pretty crazy seeing the size of, like, I don't know, seeing it on a flat screen versus actually seeing the actual scale of these things it's impressive.
It's a whole
So
other
cool.
experience.
It's super cool. But
it's the future, or I guess it's now.
It really is. But. Well, I mean, I think we're just in the infancy of it. I think it's gonna get pretty crazy at some point. My partner keeps saying full dive. She wants to full dive into a kind of, you know, Ready Player One into a world.
Wow.
That's scary to me.
Well, I had sorry.
No, go ahead, Regine. Yeah.
I had one of those like years ago, before even like, I think it was like the very beginning of when VR became a thing, and it was one of those little consoles. I used to be a brand ambassador, and the guy was like, if you want to take one home, you can. And I'm like, I'm not going to use this, but okay. I took it home. My brothers used it. It was like one of those ones where it's purple. You put it on, you put your phone through it, and there's a bunch of apps that you can use on it. It was so old school for VR. Let's put it that way. I used it maybe twice, got sick, and I was like, here you go, brothers, enjoy. It's a whole other experience, and I can't do it.
Yeah. I actually wonder, like, because that's the thing, the games are going to get more and more intense. Like, all it'll take is, they got to create a controller that moves like like we saw in Ready Player One, like that, a full like 360-degree sort of treadmill type thing.
Yeah.
And all the technology kind of already exists. I feel like it's just a matter of getting it, I don't know, compact enough and cheap enough that everybody can have it. But I feel like that's got to be the standard for like first-person shooters for so many things.
Yeah, I mean, when it comes to it, I don't think regular gaming is ever going to die, right? Because there's just something about being able to just sit down, relax, play a game in the afternoon or evening, and, you know, not have to worry about running or aiming a gun, or, you know, it's just VR, I think, is it's always going to be a little bit of a novelty. I don't think it's ever going to be the standard for gaming, at least in my opinion.
I hope you're right.
Yeah,
because you're right. I mean, I still do enjoy. I mean, I was never that great at first-person shooter games. Like, I loved the Half-Life series, and but like in terms of multiplayer, when I'm playing against other people, like I've always been awful at all of those.
Same. I'm terrible.
Yeah, and so. But I've always enjoyed like a nice side scroller. That's why, like, I don't know if you played Cuphead, but like Cuphead was so fun.
Cuphead is hard.
Yeah.
That game is like hardcore. I can't play it. I can't beat like the first boss.
Scott, how many times did you try to beat the first boss?
Actually, I was able to finally beat Cuphead, but it took me
half the pandemic.
hours. Yeah. Well, like the last boss, in fact, I did it all on live stream. And the last boss, which is the devil, it took me 6 straight hours of just that boss. 6 hours. God. And when you're fighting for that long, like there was a point where I'm like literally like at like the 4-hour mark, right? I was like, am I gonna beat this? Like, what if this gaming series ends with just me going, well, that was fun, but I guess I'm not beating this. Because then you start to get tired, right? You're like, I feel like I'm going to start to get worse at this point.
Yeah.
I'm not going to be able to beat this game. And then, but suddenly at the 6-hour mark, I was able to do it. But no, Cuphead is one of the most difficult games I've ever played. But so nice, so fun to play. Tegan is here. Hi, Tegan. She says Matt's dad accidentally punched a light. She said he punched a light while he was using the VR. Lol.
What?
Yeah.
There you go.
Yeah. Around Christmas time, I brought my VR and PC set to my parents, and we quarantined there for about a couple of weeks. But my dad's like huge into sci-fi and stuff like that. So I was just like, he has to see like VR. The first thing I did was I put him into like this space simulator, and he was just like, oh my god, this is the future. I was just like, yeah, Dad. The whole time. But then he was playing this game called Gorn, where you're like a gladiator and you kill other gladiators, and he was like punching the gladiators, and he ended up hitting a light, and that was really funny.
Oh my god.
Because you can naturally, especially if you're standing up, sometimes your feet will move a little bit, right? And so you may not notice that you're drifting across the room.
Yeah,
so,
I mean, in some games, if they're as described as room scale, meaning you can move, you can move around in the environment by actually walking in your environment. Then you can actually see that you're moving. But I mean, you'll forget that there are walls in your way that are not in the world that you're in. So
yeah,
oh my god,
walk
into a wall. Whoops, no big deal.
Yeah. Ice is here. Hey, good morning, Ice. Oh, and my mom's here. Good morning, everyone. Good morning, Mom.
Good morning.
Good morning. I will see you later today, as the restrictions have been changed. You can have outdoor gatherings up to 5 people here in Toronto. So we will be taking advantage of some backyard sitting a little bit later today here for the May 2-4 long weekend.
Well, speaking of gathering, I'm going to just switch it over a little bit because I don't talk video games. Speaking of gathering, so Matt, the first time we met you was you were promoting a gathering, a concert.
Yes.
Well, it's been a long time since we've seen you. What's new with you in the music world?
Oh man. Well, I've been basically during this entire quarantine, I've been working on a ton of new music, and working with new people, experimenting in different genres. But specifically, I have a new single coming out from a series of singles over the next 5-ish months. Specifically 5 singles, and the first one is coming out in about a month's time.
Nice.
Yeah,
that's cool. So you've used the pandemic to focus on music. Do you think, because we've had a bunch of artists on here over the pandemic, and everybody sort of dealt with it differently, but do you think these singles would exist right now if not for the pandemic? Were you already working on them before, or was it something that you sort of found yourself with time and you focused on that, or how did it come about?
Great question, actually. I haven't thought about that, but that's really interesting. What's cool is that these songs are very reflective, and lyrically at the very least, of my state, my mental state during the pandemic, or at least due to a lot of things that have taken place because of the pandemic. So I would probably say no, they wouldn't exist, at least in the same way, if it weren't for the pandemic. So in that sense, I have to be thankful that I was able to kind of hone in on something that, like, in that way. But then again, who knows? Maybe if there was no pandemic, maybe I would have come up with something even better, which is weird.
I mean, maybe the next few songs will.
Yeah. Maybe when the pandemic ends, I'll be like, okay, now I can finally write those songs that I want to write.
Well, that's the thing. I think we talked about this one time on the show before, but I was always wondering if somebody were to take like a look at songs, like if somebody could analyze sort of the songs that people are choosing to listen to or the genres that people are listening to, I would wonder if they would notice a shift after the pandemic happened. Like I would wonder if maybe people's moods are different, so that maybe the music that they felt drawn to would change. I don't know. Like if you imagine songs that, you know, were typically meant to be played in clubs, and you know the songs that get people thinking about when they want to go out, those might have been popular, but maybe suddenly now there's more smaller scale or more sad songs because people are all at home. I've wondered if like, because I mean, you know, this is one of those things that's affected the entire world, you know, and it's affected our global psyche. So I'm just curious, you know, I would be wondering if there's some way or somebody could like, I don't know, like if Spotify or whoever's managing the music, whatever, were able to, if they were to take a look, would they notice like and suddenly in the year 2020, everybody started listening to this and this type of music kind of fell off. I don't know if it's true, but I've wondered about that.
Yeah, I mean, I feel like that makes a lot of sense actually, because it's shifted kind of the landscape a bit, you know, in terms of not only what everyone wants in their lives. I think a lot of people that work in like the service industry and stuff have felt that, you know, I don't want this anymore. If unless they enjoy it, which is totally fine. But I know it did that for me. So I imagine that it did that for a lot of things in unexpected ways. And that's probably, especially with music, some people probably, you know, became more interested in certain genres because, you know, they're inside all the time and they're able to intake more. So they, you know, they start appreciating other things. Like I gained a new appreciation for a lot of different kinds of hip hop. And I didn't grow up with hip hop. So it played an interesting role in how I produce my music because I started listening to different kinds of music due to the pandemic happening.
Yeah. So there you go. I mean, there's an example of it. There's one example of the possibility. So I've got to think there are probably tons of people who are in that same position.
Totally.
It's interesting. Well, speaking of music and your music, why don't we listen to one of your songs?
Sure.
What would you? I've got two queued up here. What one would you like to listen to first?
Well, I guess the first song that I was super proud of. I mean, this isn't my first song, but this is the first one that I was able to take seriously when I released it. And Surface Tension is probably the first one.
Cool. Is there anything you'd like to say about it before we play, or you just want to dive right in and we can talk about it after?
Yeah, I mean, this was a song that I wrote when I was in a little bit of a dark place. It's not necessarily a dark song, but the mood of it and the nature of it is slightly, you know, it's warmer. So, yeah.
Cool. All right. Well, ladies and gentlemen, here is Surface Tension by Matt Fasullo.
Like my heart is beating when a mere seven's one loose wire struck a nerve through the bone. Is the art worth reading? Pretend that the love is a lie. Oh, the duck that I break at the seams of exhaustion. Now the light's breaking through your eyes, like the rays of the sun to the ocean floor. something to say. What's a thought when the thought that counts looks away? Bite your tongue and forget you're alive. You can speak once again when you die. Don't you know there's a safe way to fly? Hold your breath and prepare for the surface tension. I got something to say. Is it wrong if I always asked you to stay? I've got something I need. Beg and plead, hands and knees on the ground for me. Severs one loose wire. Stuck in nerve to the bone. Is the art worth reading?
And that was Surface Tension by Matt Fasullo. Wow. That was an atmospheric masterpiece.
Thank you.
Was.
It's awesome. Very, very awesome. Okay, let's quickly do the ads, and then we're going to come back and talk about the song. Ladies and gentlemen, that amazing song, and this whole show, for that matter, was brought to you by some very important people. Right, Regine?
It was.
These people, of course, are our advertisers. They make the show possible, you know. Mm-hmm. Hey, Regine.
Yes, Scott.
Do you want to find out what your home is really worth?
Maybe.
Are you buying, selling, investing, or renting a home?
Perhaps.
Then Jennifer C., realtor at Home Life Culture Link, is here to help. Call or text Jennifer today at 647-403-8887. Don't deal with just anyone. Speak to a professional. Jennifer C. at Home Life Culture Link. To see her current listings, visit homelifeculturelink.com.
Hang on, I'm going to plug in. Jennifer's helping my family sell our house. If you're looking for a house in Mississauga, stay tuned.
There you go. Find out more at homelifeculturelink.com. There you go, Jennifer C., everybody. The Mortgage Godfather is here to give you advice with any mortgage needs you may have, and he will shop to find you the best mortgage. Nino Simeka, mortgage agent. He'll give you an offer you can't refuse. Regine.
I'm not jumping in on this
Never
one.
wanted this. He'll give you an offer you can't refuse. MortgageGodfather.ca. Find out more. Or call 905-604-6955. Jewelry forever. Conveniently located at CF Markville Shopping Center on 5000 Highway 7 East, Markham. They do custom-made jewelry, repairs, and they change watch batteries, all done on site. Jerry over at Jewelry Forever is an absolute artist. If you have a vision for something custom, he is the man to make it for you. Or they have a fine selection of beautiful items that you'll be sure to find something special for the special person on your list. And we have a great deal worked out with them, don't we, Regine?
We do. If you go in after June 15th or whenever they open, make sure you let them know that Scott and Regine sent you, and you'll get 15% off your entire purchase.
That's right. 15%, 15% off. Mention the show, say Scott and Regine sent me, and Jerry will give you 15% off. An incredible deal for some glorious and beautiful, shiny items. Find out more at jewelryforever.ca. And also follow them on Instagram. They're always doing giveaways and things.
They have a Father's Day giveaway right now, too. So
there you go.
Go there after
So
the show.
find them on Instagram. Correct. And also, ladies and gentlemen, Deliciousness Treats.
Hot chocolate bombs, juice bombs, smash cakes, and dipped Oreos. If you are looking for a delicious treat for your friends and family, make sure you check us out on Instagram at deliciousness_treats or Deliciousness Treats on Facebook.
Yeah, and they are absolutely delicious. This is an ad, so I can't say I'm unbiased, but I've also sampled all of these things, and I will say... Very good. So, yes, that's right. Deliciousness Treats, everybody. Sweet treats for you and a friend. There you go. If you would like to advertise on the show, it's very easy, right, Regine?
It's simple. All you guys have to do is email us at radioshowad, that's radioshowad@gmail.com.
That's right. Ladies and gentlemen, this is a live show, okay? We do the show live every week. And we do the ads live, too. What does that mean? It means that you can personalize the ads every week.
Yep.
Do you have an event or something happening at a particular time, a particular place? You let us know. We let your potential client base know in real time. It's practically magic. And it's yours now.
You know what
Just
else
go to
is
Radio
magic?
Show. What is the magic, Regine?
Our sit-down merch.
Oh, yeah, okay. Well, radioshowad@gmail.com. And yes, that's right. Have you been wondering, geez, I really wish my morning coffee tasted like
Scott Dion Brown's coffee.
Yeah. Do you ever wish it tasted like success? Do you want to sip like a champion? Well, now you can. Go to teespring.com/thesitdownmug. Your coffee will taste exactly how it usually tastes, but it'll be in a different mug.
You're not selling.
And also my merch. Well, I don't want to false advertise, but it does taste like success. We'll say that. I think I can say that.
There you go.
That's vague enough. Right?
Yeah.
Also, while you're there, if you go to that site, you'll see there's a link to the main store, teespring.com/stores/Scott Dion Brown. And my entire merch line is there as well, so you can check it out. But the mug, ladies and gentlemen, sip like a champion. teespring.com/thesitdownmug. Sip like a champion, people. And we are back.
Scott, you have
with Matt
too
Fasullo.
much caffeine in your system right now. What's going on?
Yes. But you know what? I'm excited, Regine. And I want to talk about that song. That was awesome. It was so
very calming.
Layered, calming, but also intense. And I like that there was... I don't think it was progressive, like not like prog rock type thing, but there was an element of like you almost didn't know where, like there were so many new things coming in. I really enjoyed that a lot, actually. Good job.
Yeah, that was like one of the first songs where I tried to just experiment more with production and like, because nowadays we have access to so many different tracks. I was like, how many tracks can I use without making it sound like a muddy mess, and I wanted to use sounds that I've never heard before, so I took like a synth and that kind of main beat that you're hearing throughout the song
Yep.
is it's not even actually percussion. It's just a synth, but really low notes with and the way they hit kind of sounds like a drum. So yeah, it's pretty neat.
Awesome. So
And
how did you oh yeah, okay, you go, Regine.
I was gonna say, sorry, there's voices that are not yours also in this track. Who are they?
Yes.
Yeah, that's my partner Tegan, and you had her on last week, and then also my sister, who casually sings occasionally, and I mean I lived with her for about a year, and she has a lovely voice, so I asked them both to sing, and I love a feminine voice. I find that it's very pleasing. I've always preferred feminine voice, so yeah.
Nice to layer in the harmonies. I mean, yeah, I was just going to ask how you approached the song, because like was it something, did you start it writing it maybe like on guitar and then you kind of made adjustments as you were producing it to, or like, yeah, I was curious where did you start and how did you get to where you ended up?
I actually wrote this one on the piano first, because the progression is it's pretty complicated. It's a pretty long progression. So, yeah, I started it on the piano, and I actually learned how to play it on guitar afterwards. And that was, yeah, I don't know. It's just, it's hard to say how, like, I wrote it, because these things kind of happen in a blur. They're very, this sounds really lame, but they're very in the moment. And yeah, I don't know. I have no idea.
No, it's fine.
Cool. Would you say it's one of those ones where, like, did you have? Well, I don't know. It's a way to approach it. Like, there are
did it
some
just hit
songs
you?
where it's like, yeah, but I was thinking specifically, like, was it one of those songs where you had an idea from the get-go of what it was supposed to be, and then you were trying to grab it, or was it more something that you kind of built in the production side? You know what I mean?
A little bit of both. Like, my idea when I went into it was I want to make a weird beat, and I think that the name of the song, before I figured out the name of the actual song, was Weird Beat. That's what the working title was. I was like, this is a weird beat. So, yeah. And then, but other than that, I kind of wing it in the production process, and I kind of just write my lyrics and write the chords, and how the song progresses is all kind of happening in real time, because I'm just like, I finish the first verse and I produce the entire first verse, and I go, okay, what sounds cool after this for a chorus? And then I want the next verse to sound completely different. So how am I going to transition from the chorus to the next verse, and stuff like that. So it all happens at once for me. Not every single time. Sometimes the songs that I write on guitar, or I'll come up with the lyrics first, and I'll think of a melody in my head, and I'll record it on my phone, and it sounds like me going, and then I apply it later. So yeah.
Awesome. Well,
Cool.
yeah, I mean, I really enjoyed it. I got to listen to it again a few more times afterwards, because I love there were a lot of elements in that, like a lot of the artists that influenced me, that I'm drawn to, right? Like, I'm thinking like more from the classic rock era, but like I feel like in those days where, like, I like how you were even saying you were trying to find sounds that you'd never heard before, because I feel like that's what so much of, especially music in the 60s and 70s, that's what they were trying to do. Like they were trying to find sounds, and this one, it just felt like you kept introducing elements that it kept like my ears kept
like,
picking up,
ooh.
like when a new something else would come in, and like, I don't know, there was just so much happening. I was just enjoying it. Like, I know you guys were chatting with each other kind of during the song, and I was kind of just quietly like taking it in. So anyway, I liked it a lot. So good job.
Thank you.
Matt, who influences your music? Sorry.
Damn. Well, as of recently, this, I mean, I'm sure you've heard of him. Bon Iver played a big part into how I like to produce my music. At the very least, I like the idea of collaboration, although I don't have a lot of collaborators right now. I like that's one of my influences, Bon Iver. Another one would probably be damn. I really like, actually, as of recently, this artist named Ethan Gruska. He is a producer. I think he's John Williams' son, actually.
Cool.
He's been a huge influence for my most recent music. This band called Manchester Orchestra played a huge part in me making more music around 2017, 2018. Thrice is another band that has been a huge part of my life. And I mean, I take little bits and pieces of what they do, and I try to incorporate it into my own. But for the most part, I do really try to make stuff. I try not to sound like them. I try my best to make stuff that sounds just like me. Yeah, and Bob Dylan is a huge influence on me, at least in the last couple years. My friend Riley, he got me into them, him got me into him. And yeah, so those are my main influences right now. Also, the National is a big one.
Cool. Lyrically, what were you writing about in this track?
Oh man, my phone just fell. I was I guess I was very. This is gonna be kind of take a dark turn. I was pretty depressed around the time that I wrote this in 2019, and the song is me kind of talking about how I am not going to pretend that things are as bad as I may think they are, yet the way I feel still is legit. You know, it doesn't matter that maybe things aren't as bad. It's like I'm feeling this way because I feel this way, and that's what it is. So I was pretty depressed, and I think a lot of people would probably say, "Oh yeah, it kind of helped me through it." Things got a lot worse after that. So, you know, it's me talking about that time, pretty much. Yeah,
makes sense. Well, it was yeah. You go, Regine.
I keep cutting you off. Go ahead.
I was just gonna say it's you created something really, really, really beautiful. So
thank you.
Yeah.
And I was going to say, Matt, you're very vulnerable when it comes to how you're feeling at that moment. And you even mentioned earlier that a lot of the songs that you've written are about a dark time in your place during this pandemic. And I think, mental health is something that we've all been talking about in recent years, especially during the pandemic. So your music may have been an outlet for you, but it's also going to be an outlet for people who have also experienced or are experiencing the things that you sing about. And I think that's where you're going to get a lot of your fan base and your hits, is because you're relatable and you're vulnerable, and not a lot of artists can do that, or are willing, like you just said, are willing to open up on an interview and talk about, hey, I was depressed in 2019 and this is where this music came from.
Right. Yeah. And you know what? That's kind of interesting, because I browse a lot of forums from certain bands, and a lot of artists from the early 2000s, even the 90s, I mean probably forever, you would hear about them. Oh, they were very depressed when they wrote this, or they were going through some drug addiction when they wrote this. And then you'll see comments that say things like their music isn't as good anymore because they're not on drugs,
or
so
rude.
They're not sad anymore. It's super messed up, but
It's so rude.
it's so rude. What I'm getting at is, it's just interesting to me how much people connect with the darker side of art in general.
Mhm.
You know,
Yep.
whether or not they respond in kind of a questionable way, it's still them saying, in a sense, that they're able to relate to this person because of the fact that they were feeling probably a way that the listener has felt. You know.
Mhm.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Well, I mean, I guess it's because I feel like the times when people really feel like they need to either escape or like reach out, to some kind of art. It's not usually when you feel like everything is great, right? That's why like most songs there there aren't that, well, I guess there are just sort of happy songs, but most songs there's usually some kind of conflict with it. I mean, I guess it's like why a film has to have a conflict in it in order for it to be a film, and I think there's an
Yeah.
element in music as well. So, yeah, and
Yeah.
it's a lot of people, not even just because they overcame whatever other demons, but I mean, a lot of artists, you feel like they, once they get huge success, because their lifestyle has changed, there is something to be said for just when you're having some type of struggle, you can create better art. So that is something to
Yeah.
think about, I guess.
Yeah. But actually, what I wanted to say before was
Mhm.
that it didn't. Interestingly, it didn't help me.
Mm.
You know, I
Yeah.
think a lot of people say like, "Oh, making music, or other people's music healed me." Music doesn't heal me; it helps me reflect, and like in the same way as a diary would, you know.
Mhm.
But yeah, I guess part of me was hoping that I would get something more out of writing a song that's about that, when in reality it's the same as how people view therapy. You know, it's not there to solve your problems, it's there to kind of help you figure out how to solve your problems. And unfortunately, in my case, it didn't really do that, and that's just because I am who I am. You know, some things help me, and some things might not help me how it may help others. And in this case, unfortunately, writing music isn't as therapeutic to me as I would like it to be. But it doesn't mean it's not valuable to me. It's like it's the most important thing in my life. You know, it's just I think there's a little bit of a misconception when it comes to stuff like that sometimes. And yeah.
Well, it's an interesting idea because, well, like what you're saying, you'll get people who will, oh yeah, this person's music really helped me get through this. But it's an interesting idea that it might be something that like other people are hearing the song and it kind of speaks to them and it speaks to their idea. But you're right. There's not, that doesn't necessarily mean that it worked the same way for the artist that created it. Right. I mean,
Yeah.
Because like you were saying, you're like, if it's basically, you're basically writing it down. It's a diary. You're kind of documenting your feeling in a particular time. And so other people can relate, when they're going through something maybe similar or they're feeling a certain way and the song hits them. But that doesn't necessarily mean that there's no reason why it necessarily needs to be that it would help the creator as well.
Yeah.
Even if it can help other people. That's an interesting idea, but I guess that's, yeah.
Which means, in a sense, that it's pretty selfless. I'm not saying I did it for other people. Like I wrote the song for myself, but I'm sure there's some artists out there that write selflessly. Especially when you think of certain artists that have like taken their own lives. And they were still writing music probably because they liked to see how much people enjoyed listening to it, which is, in my opinion, a really selfless act, because yes, they're creating music because it's their lifestyle, but at the same time they're trying to reach out to people, maybe give people a piece of themselves that I guess helps people open up a little bit more vulnerably, whatever the word is. But you know what I mean.
We'll take
Well,
it.
I think Robin Williams is a good example of that,
Yeah.
right?
Mhm.
I mean, nobody really knew. I'm sure some people had some idea of what he was going through, but like, I don't think the general public had any idea. I mean, when I watched tons of appearances of his when he's on, late night TV as the guest, or he's just always seemed like such a,
Happy.
excited, happy, entertaining guy, but we didn't know what was going on underneath. But I think you're right. He still, I think, did it because I think he liked to make other people happy, which he did.
That's what I heard. I read that he really enjoyed. I mean, I'm sure it's pretty obvious just by watching him on screen or something, that he enjoyed making people laugh. But
Yeah.
I think there's more to it than that. Just that. I think he got something out of making people smile and be happy, And I'm sure we could say a lot about a lot of comedians out there.
Yeah. Well.
And on that note, should we listen to your next song?
Oh, that's right. We have another song. Yeah.
Sure.
Tell us a little bit about Phoebe's Shoes.
Phoebe.
Cool. So Phoebe. So this song is it's interesting to kind of segue into this one because this song is about this one I wrote during the pandemic, and it takes myself in a more positive direction because I tried to start writing songs that were a little bit not happier, but more reflective in a positive way. So even if they are about sad things, they're more about appreciation for the things that I do have. And this song specifically is about my influences and the things that make me want to keep creating. So Phoebe's Shoes, I could get into detail about who it's specifically about, but the fact of the matter is it's about my influences and being thankful that I have them.
Cool. All right. Well, ladies and gentlemen, please enjoy Phoebe's Shoes by Matt Fasullo.
Even on the worst day, if the luck hurts my wings, I learn how to fly. Even in the worst way, maybe I got bad taste, but I'm open to things. I even like to cry. Darling, don't make me. So listen up, listen here. All my tones, all my friends, all my lovers and my trends, I'll bear witness. 'Cause I'm so goddamn ungrateful. Catch me climbing Mount Vernon, wearing Phoebe's shoes and drinking all the wine. I think we'll run for mayor, hopping passenger seat for shelter from the storm. How do I get there? So listen up, listen here. All my tones, all my friends, all my lovers and my trends, I'll bear witness. 'Cause I'm so goddamn listen up.
And that was Phoebe's Shoes by Matt Fasullo. And if you're just tuning in, well, guys,
Hello.
we're actually here with Matt Fasullo, creator of that song. Very different feel, but also really nice. I really like the beat for that one was also a little different as well.
It was a bossa nova beat.
Oh.
Yeah, I sampled a bossa nova beat and layered it like 4 times until it sounded a little weird. So
I like
it worked. Thanks.
Yeah, and there was also a bit of some of the percussion was of your was that your voice?
Yeah, it was. I just went. What is it? It's like.
Yeah.
And I just did that, and I was like, "This is kind of funny," so I included it.
Well, it worked.
Oh, very nice. Yeah, I like the feel. And so this one you said was written. This one was during the pandemic.
Yeah, I wrote that around October, November last year.
Oh wow.
Or maybe I released it around. I don't know. But yeah, this was post summer.
Cool. And did you find? So you said this was touching on your influences.
Yeah, what's interesting is the second verse is actually. I mean, the entire first verse is kind of me in a positive headspace, where the first line, even on the worst day, if the Lord clipped my wings, I'd learn how to fly. It's just like everything's gonna be okay. And then in the second verse, it's actually a bunch of lyrical references to different artists. So, "Catch Me Climbing Mount Vernon" is a reference to Justin Vernon from Bon Iver. Or "Wearing Phoebe's Shoes" is a reference to Phoebe Bridgers. I don't remember the rest of the lyrics, but you get the point.
Yeah.
I can't remember them right now.
Well, I liked it.
Yeah,
I liked it. In fact, we should also. Where can people find your music? Because I'm sure some people are going to want to after this. So.
So my music is on Spotify, Apple Music, and literally whatever streaming service anybody has. I'm pretty sure it should be available. It's on YouTube right now. There's a couple music videos specifically for those 2 songs actually that we played. But yeah, Spotify, you can just find me at Matt Fasullo, and same with everything else.
Perfect.
Cool. Yeah, find them there. I will. I'll add your YouTube channel to the link to the description below, so you guys can find it. I've got your Instagram there now, but I'll add YouTube as well. I guess speaking of music videos and stuff, because you're also a filmmaker. So what have you been? Well, how have things been? I guess I imagine the pandemic probably put a hold on most things, but what's been happening, or what have you been focusing on in terms of video and film?
Honestly, I've in some way slightly lost interest in making film, mainly as a career, at least, because I realized that, I studied it and I loved it for a long time, but I kind of realized that I wasn't as passionate about it as I thought I was at a certain point. I still love film in general, but to me it's more enjoyable as a hobby. So whenever I get a chance, I'll make a music video. But I don't really plan on doing it that much in the future, because I just like music a lot more. But it was a good option to have for a while. It's just, something changed in my head, and I was like, I don't really want to do this anymore. Yeah.
Cool. So now it's like you said, it's more. I guess you'll use it as another tool in the box for, I guess, like you said, for music videos or two. But music has now become the central passion.
Absolutely. Yeah. It's just like you said, it's another tool in the box that I can use to elevate my passions. So, like I said, music videos, those are fun to make when I feel like making them. And yeah, I'd rather just do film when I feel like doing it instead of feeling like, oh, I got to make this my career.
Mm-hmm. Makes
Yeah.
sense. What are your thoughts on, like, especially with how the way the world is now in terms of how music is I don't know, promoted and distributed? Like, so much of it is reliant on a visual element going with it. You know, like so many artists say they have to say that, you know, they're putting their stuff on YouTube and everything. So you almost there needs to be some kind of visual element to go with it. Whereas I feel like maybe in past eras, there was something to be said about, like, you know, no, it's just about the music. I don't know. Do you have any thoughts in terms of whether you think the video complements it? Do you think it should be, the music should be fine without it? Where do you sit on that kind of?
Well,
idea?
I see them kind of as separate kind of forms, you know. When you watch a music video with a song, you're taking in so much more information. Because I find that a lot of the time music videos don't really have anything to do with lyrics, at least in
now.
some of the genres.
Yeah.
Yeah. Because they're not, a lot of them are very ambiguous or very experimental. But I don't know. I kind of disagree in the sense that I think that music has always been paired visually, just in a different way, right? Cover art has always played probably a huge part in how people enjoy music and how the kind of mood that they go into the music with, right? If you look at Pink Floyd's like The Wall and stuff, I mean, it's pretty self-explanatory. It's a brick wall, but it's, you know, when I see that, it's very dystopic, and and then you see something like Bon Iver's most recent albums. They're very reflective of the actual music you're hearing, and then also, not to mention, live shows have always been performance. Right, you go to a live show and then you look at a band like Kiss, and they're all wearing this crazy makeup, and that's kind of become their identity. And when you think of Kiss, you don't. I mean, I haven't really listened to them that much, but when you think of them, you specifically you think of their makeup. You know, and maybe that's just because I've never been a huge fan of them, but just that's what they're known for. Worldwide.
You're definitely right. The image of the artist is huge part of, in fact, in a lot of ways, part of their appeal.
Like Scott in his leather print shirt.
Exactly.
It's very important. But I've just I've always wondered, like, how much of, like, I don't know, you think of somebody like, who is that British that woman who, she was on one of those, like, singing competition shows. Is it Susan Boyle? Is that who I'm thinking
Boyle,
about?
Yeah.
Who, like, you know, she, looking at her, she just looks like just sort of just a regular person that you would see, and there was nothing about her that shouted, like, you know, super performing artist or whatever. But that was part of her when she started singing. It was like, wow, right? And I was I just kind of think about it in terms of, like, we have the idea of the image of what a person who's performing would look like, or like what you need to look like to be in a band, or what you need to, you know, whatever image goes with the music. But I guess, you know,
then you have shows like The Voice.
I mean, yeah, that's true. Actually, The Voice is kind of tries to go against that. I don't know how well it works, but I think that when it comes to stuff like Susan Boyle, it also shows, like, how much the landscape has changed in terms of what's acceptable, because I remember people saying she's ugly, and that was,
well, I mean, that's the thing.
It was really mean. But nowadays that wouldn't fly. Everyone would snap and say, you can't say that because you can't. But that was kind of her selling point at the time, was, wow, look at this supposedly ugly person on stage, and then, whoa, wow, she can sing. Right, that's insane. That's crazy. That's what it was. But at the end of the day, it still becomes about that's kind of what the selling point of things is. It's like, okay, yeah, they have a sound,
Mhm.
and then people look at who it is, and then they go, okay, so now I can associate that with the face and the demeanor and the
Yep.
way they act,
Mhm.
and it changes everything about how you view an artist.
Yeah, I guess it's also because people identify with music so much, and a lot of people, like, they kind of, it becomes part of your identity a little bit.
Yeah.
And so I guess that's why they really rely on, okay, it's not just the music they're listening to, but what's the artist about? What do they look like? Is this person somebody that I can relate to, or that I can look up to? And I guess it goes both ways, because I guess one of the criticisms that you can have, and I think we're seeing more of it now than ever, just because of how good technology is with production. But like, the problem now is that you've got artists that aren't really, I would almost argue some of them are not even actually musicians. They're kind of really just the face of whatever music
The
is being
sound.
produced for them, and you almost don't even need to be able to sing anymore, because you can literally, with autotune, make anybody sound good. So there's almost
So I
this
could
thing
be
where,
a pop star? No, I'm just kidding.
Yeah, believe it or not,
I mean,
you probably could.
the answer is yes, easily.
Nice.
And
Who
so
wants to auto-tune
this
my
could-
voice? No, I'm just kidding.
yeah. So that's the thing. So there's kind of like, I don't know. There's on the one hand, yes, image is important because it helps you sell the music, but I guess then there's also the other side of, it's like, image is all there is that's actually pushing it. I don't know, but I think you are right when you say it's always been like that to an extent. I think
To an extent, yeah. Music videos have just become, because of video on demand, because of being able to watch anything at any time whenever you want. Unlike, in the 90s, when music videos were, very few, and you'd have to catch it on TV.
Yep.
That's why I think music videos have become the main visual aspect of a song. Because it's not only that, it's like a perfect way to market, because of things like YouTube and Vimeo and stuff like that.
Yep.
It's interesting though
people
that
are
you
more
mentioned.
likely to. Oh yeah, go read. Keep going.
Sorry,
Regine.
I was gonna say it's interesting that you mentioned like music videos from like the 90s, 80s, early 2000s to the music videos now, where music videos once upon a time was a storyteller of the lyrics. Now I feel like it's just a storyteller of whatever they come up with. Like sometimes I look at, for example, Taylor Swift's music videos now. I don't understand the concept behind her videos, but when she was first starting out in the country realm, I understood it more. So it's quite interesting how music videos have taken a turn.
Yeah.
Although I was just gonna say, I was watching just the other day, like, some of the, like, Britney's early videos or NSYNC's early videos. Some of those videos are pretty. They're pretty weird.
Yes, but that was the era that it was in. But now, like, these music videos don't even make sense to me. Maybe I guess Britney Spears made more sense to me dancing in a school compared to the videos.
Well, that's the thing. They kind of told miniature narratives, right? They were all kind of tiny stories. And not that there isn't that anymore. There still is, but a lot of them are very conceptual, very, like very high concept. Like there's this music video for The National where it's this girl in a gym. And the song's called Dark Side of the Gym, but the video is just her dancing with another guy in a gym filled with inflated balloons. And, there's probably more to it beneath all that, but it's not telling you the story of the song directly. It's it's more about setting a mood and capturing kind of a moment and a feeling, right? And I think it's probably proven to be more timeless than most music videos were back in the day. Because I'll be able to watch that 20 years from now and be like, this is like beautiful, But if I watch, the music video for Stacy's mom, it's kind of like, okay, this is not aging well. This is a really weird story. really inappropriate, and it's dumb. Like it's super dumb. So
Yep.
yeah.
But then you
Yeah,
also
some
get
things-
like,
some-
sorry.
I was gonna say some things age better than others. Yeah, you go ahead, Regine.
I was gonna say, if you look at like the early 2000s R&B, so like Usher, for example, or Neo, their music videos were very to the lyrics. Like it was a whole dramatic scene from a movie, because that's what their songs were about. I miss those music videos.
They are fun, and they still exist. There's just fewer of them because now they're more niche.
Yeah.
And you don't get Usher nowadays, so I mean,
No, not really.
R&B's not
Well, the other, well, the other weird part is, I mean, it's good and it's bad. On the other hand, like, I think because there's so many fewer barriers, like, there are a lot of artists, even like independent artists, who can put out really, really cool things. And so in a way, there's almost more, like, you can almost find somebody doing everything. You know what I mean? Like, there's something for everyone. Like, I saw an ad pop up in my my YouTube ads the other day, and it was for some, I'd never even heard of them, but they sounded like a classic rock band to me. Like for 70s, their singer had a high, like, that type of voice. And I was like, that's cool. Like, I didn't even really know people were playing rock, but I mean, of course people are still playing. It's just, I feel like,
Was it Greta Van Fleet?
Honestly, I can't remember.
Oh, okay.
I only saw it for a split second. The guy had long hair.
Yeah, they sound exactly like Led Zeppelin, so it's
Could have been them.
might have been them. Yeah.
But I was just like, whoa, that's cool, So, but I guess in that, what I was saying is, like, it's just, there's this, it's so rare now that there's like one artist that captures the world. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
Like now it's like things have become so segmented that you can have people that are hugely famous, and then there's a huge segment of population that has no idea who they are.
like
Especially with the
BTS.
rise of like online BTS or like any of the online celebrities. Like, you think how huge like PewDiePie and like Valkyrie and all these like online personalities are, that you've got like huge people have no idea. Most people have no idea who they are,
I have
but
no
meanwhile,
idea.
100 million people know who they are.
That's
So-
wild. Yeah, that's wild to think about. How many people are on this planet, and how many can like you and know who you are, yet most of the planet still doesn't know who you are.
Yeah. Yeah.
But
I think
then,
there are.
that's why I said like BTS, like people didn't know who they were, but now their army base is extreme. Like
Yes.
Yeah.
BTS is just a K-pop band that nobody understood, and now they're worldwide.
They're a global phenomenon. Yeah,
Yeah.
They break the internet every time they come out with a single. So
it's true.
Yeah.
Speaking of the internet, we're gonna wrap up soon. Actually, in about 10 minutes or
Speaking
so.
of the
But
internet.
I did want to get, because we talked about this briefly, how we on last week. So about these TikTok tips, and I talked about this thing of like
Oh
how
God,
apparently
not
when you
again.
brush your teeth, you're not supposed to rinse your mouth. You're just supposed to brush, spit. I was wondering if you have an opinion, your thoughts on this. Is this something that you think people should be doing?
Here's the thing.
Because we
I
know you
hate
watched it.
toothpaste. Yeah, I did. I hate toothpaste. That's all I was thinking about when I was watching. I was like, ugh.
That's right.
I use toothpaste. I use it obviously because I want my teeth. But I can't stand the taste. I don't like fluoride. I don't like minty, gunk in my mouth.
Yeah.
And maybe I'm just weird, but so for me, yeah, it should be spit out. It should be down the drain and burned.
So
Do you rinse
the
your
idea of
mouth,
leaving
though?
the idea of leaving it in your mouth for any longer than it needs to be there is basically horrifying.
Yeah, you should rinse your mouth afterwards.
Thank
Get
you.
rid of any. But you were saying last week that this whole thing was that people say it's better to keep it in your mouth because it has fluoride in it, and it's good for your teeth. And then also that's what mouthwash is for. Mouthwash isn't the same. It's not gooey and gross, and it can
Yes.
you can, yeah,
It can taste better than toothpaste.
And actually, wait, a little update with that is I did read the fluoride bottle's ingredients.
Mm-hmm.
Sorry, not fluoride bottle, the mouthwash bottle, and I don't think there was actually fluoride in my mouthwash. Maybe that was just my mouthwash.
Maybe it's just your mouthwash.
maybe.
you want me to get
But-
mine? No, I'm just kidding. I'm not doing
We'll,
this.
we'll,
Even
we'll
so,
weigh that
though,
in
I'm
for
sure-
next week.
I'm sure. Are you like maybe I haven't been using mouthwash well, but are you not supposed to like rinse your mouth out afterwards or something?
I think for mouthwash you are supposed to leave it.
Aren't you
I
supposed to
think.
rinse it and spit it out and then you're done?
Yeah, I thought so.
Leave
Okay,
your
now I'm
comments down
experimenting.
below and let us know what you do
Yeah.
with mouthwash.
Well, so you know what I tried is I flossed, and then I mouthwashed to get because I figured then it gets everything out and gets the little bits.
Yeah.
Then I brush my teeth
Wait,
and
you
What?
brush your teeth after mouthwash?
yeah, that's what I'm trying. And then I leave the toothpaste.
What in the world?
So you
Mrs.
floss,
Brown, I know you're
mouthwash, brush your
watching.
teeth,
Fix your
spit,
son.
and leave it out. Now here's the other thing though. You know what happened literally last night? So I was brushing my teeth, and the cup was next to me with water.
And
I was like, oh, I'm not going to need that. So I poured the water out. I poured it out like mid-brush. And I have an electric toothbrush, so I'm just standing there, right? And then as I was brushing, I started thinking about stuff. I was just thinking, right? And by the time I finished thinking, I was in the process of spitting out water. So once again, I did the thing where I without
Good.
even like on autopilot, I had already poured out the cup and emptied it, going, I'm not going to need that. And then in the process of thinking and just to myself and thinking about other things, I grabbed the cup, refilled it, rinsed my mouth, and didn't realize until as I was spitting, I was like, I did it again. I did it again.
Good.
But
Good.
it's hard to unwire something like that, right? Because your entire life you do it a certain way.
You know what is also hard
But-
to unwire? You cutting your hair. And I asked you before we get off the air, show us the scissors that you have been using to cut your hair. Oh, like you're
Nice.
just using regular scissors.
They're just scissors, and they're not.
Craft
And like I
scissors.
said, they're quite
Yeah.
old.
Please don't cut
But,
your
like-
hair on air.
No, yeah, cut a little bit.
Matt, don't encourage him.
Nice.
Scott.
There you go, that's
now
all I
you-
do.
Now you gotta even up the other side.
Then I got to do the other side, yeah.
Oh my
then I'll
god,
grab,
Matt.
like-
He doesn't even have a mirror.
But I got the camera; I can see myself.
Oh my god. Yeah, how are you gonna see it with your headphones in the way?
There, I only took a little.
Oh my
But that's pretty much what I do.
God.
And I've kind of done that consistently for
A year.
months.
But here's the
Yeah,
thing.
like,
I
so-
was asking you to show us your scissors, not how you use your scissors.
Well, but see, the thing is, so with these scissors, right? They're not very sharp, right? And they're kind of loose. So that's why I find like when I cut it, it's kind of it's like a that kind of
That's
sound. Like it's not like
satisfying.
yeah, but it's not a clean snip. It's not a clean snip.
Terrible.
So it would be better if these were sharper. But well, whatever. My hair, it is what it is.
Oh my god.
How come you
Matt,
didn't jump on the hair growing train?
like you?
How it look? So I did for a while. In fact, the thing is, I kind of have in that the hairstyle that I've got now is still longer than what I would normally have, but I do think it's kind of going to become my permanent because I like it. I actually like it like this. Like typically when I get a haircut, the size would be not totally buzzed, but quite short.
Right.
But I haven't been able to go get it. But I actually don't think I want that anymore.
Or
But
you might mess
I
up
think that-
your hair so much that they're gonna have
Yeah.
to.
Well, they might have to, yeah. But I think the main reason I couldn't drastically change my look is mainly for acting.
Oh, okay. Okay.
I still want to try to look something like my headshots, and I don't have any headshots where I have longish hair. So
That's what Tegan told me is that she's just like, I always like, why don't you, get a pixie cut your hair real short or do something. And then she's just like, I can't, my headshots are like $400 and I can't do that because then I got to
Yeah.
get new headshots.
It's true.
yeah. So there was a stretch early in the pandemic. There were a few months where everything pretty much stopped. So if there was a time for me to just completely alter my appearance, it was in that window.
Right.
But now it's like I can let it grow for a little bit, but like I found for a long time what I was doing is like the back, I would kind of just brush it inwards so that it was hidden behind my neck. But eventually got so long that I had to get my girlfriend to just go just snip the back straight because it was getting too long.
Well, Matt, be
Yeah.
careful. Scott knows how to cut hair now, apparently. So he might try to cut your ponytail off one of these days. You're like,
Well,
ooh,
good.
satisfying.
Another option. just in case I need to get a haircut.
Exactly. How long have you been
guy.
growing your hair for?
Oh man, let's see.
Because last time we saw you, your
I've
hair.
been-
Wow.
Ooh.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So I got a haircut. I got a haircut in September of 2019,
Wow.
and that's the last time I cut my hair.
But the long hair suits you.
Or maybe it was 2020. I don't remember, but it's been a long time.
Yeah.
I actually
mean,
encouraged my brother. So he's in wrestling school, so it's part of his aesthetic to have the long hair like yours. But because of the pandemic, I'm like, can you just cut your hair? Like, you really need a haircut. Out of nowhere, he sends me a video because he's learning the guitar. He's like, oh, look at an update of me playing the guitar. He's gone bald. Like, he buzz cut himself. I'm like, not even paying attention to the guitar anymore. I'm like, when did you cut your hair? Here I am, like, encouraging him to do it, and out of nowhere, it's gone. So
he did it. That's what you told him to do.
I didn't tell
told
him
him
to
to do.
buzz cut the whole thing, but now it's gone. If you're watching, hello.
You know what? Hair grows.
It
so
does.
It's fine.
Yeah.
Exactly.
And the buzz cut is a very safe one to do, right? It's the safest one, really, because you
Probably, yeah.
can't mess it up.
Actually, I beg to differ. I got a semi-buzz cut when I was in college, and it looked terrible. It looked
Oh
bad.
no.
I looked
Was
insane.
it like did they use the shaver thing and there's a zzz, or like they
Like, isn't
Yeah,
it supposed
yeah,
to all
like
be the
my
same
friends-
level?
Yeah, it's supposed to be, but we didn't have one of those. What are they?
oh
The
Like a guard? Yeah.
Yeah.
So they were just kind of winging it, trying not to cut it. They didn't want to make me bald, so they
Yeah.
were kind of winging it. It didn't work. It looked like a.
because
Oh,
they're basically trying to do the fading and the
no.
levels by hand and
Yeah.
with no experience.
I don't know why I trusted them at all, but
What could go
they did it.
wrong?
Oh my
I just remember my
God.
friend laughing at me the entire time. So I was like, this is bad, isn't it? This probably looks really bad.
And is that why you just grew out your hair? Just cause? Don't
Yeah.
trust them no more?
Actually, I grew out my hair, A, because of the pandemic, and
Mhm.
B, because I got a really terrible haircut right before a job interview, I think. And it was so embarrassing. And this guy who cut my hair wouldn't stop talking about Trump and how much he supported him, and I was just like, I'm never getting a haircut again. That was the worst experience.
It was a,
I
it was
looked
a
like an
traumatic
idiot.
experience.
It was
Trump-
traumatic in many ways.
Traumatic experience.
Traumatic experience.
I'm
Well, it's
lame,
tough.
sorry.
It took me years to find somewhere that cuts my hair that I was happy with. There was a solid decade in like even from like being like a teenager where I was so scared to get a haircut because I couldn't find somebody that cut it in a way that made me not like I was so resistant. So for the longest
So
time
now
I
you do it yourself.
and now I do it myself. Now I finally found the person to do it, and that person is me. No, but
You can't trust anybody but yourself these days, right?
exactly.
I don't.
But no,
trust
it's it's a tough thing. It's a very personal thing. Haircuts.
Scott, no.
Exactly.
Oh my God. Next
I knew the
time-
bangs are getting a bit long.
Next
so I
time,
could take a
no
bit from it.
scissors. No scissors on the show, please. You're gonna
This
give
is
me
what
a
you
heart
made,
attack.
Regine. This is what you chose.
Stop.
Anyway, we've pretty much come to the end of the show. I think this was pretty fantastic time.
Yes.
Matt, where can people find you if they want to follow your musical journey?
Well, Spotify is a good place to get updates. You can follow me there, and they'll send you emails whenever I release something new. I have an Instagram, which is kind of my main source of communication at the moment with the outside world. So that's a good place. Matt Fasullo. Matt Fasullo is how you can find me on everything. It's just my name.
So Google you.
Yeah. I have a Facebook page that I just started. I have a Twitter as well, but that I haven't started using yet, but my display picture's up. So I'm on my way. I got a YouTube channel, and it's all under my name. So if you look anywhere, and you're probably going to find me there.
Amazing.
Yeah.
So I've added the Instagram into the description, and I will add your YouTube as well. But yeah, search up Matt Fasullo, everybody. And Regine, where can people find you?
You guys can find me on YouTube as well. The link is in the description. I go live for the pageant sit down every Monday and Wednesday at 7:30 p.m. Eastern Standard Time. I'm in my 30s of episodes, so it's crazy to think how fast time is flying by. So make sure you tune in. You can also find me on Instagram, Facebook, and Twitter at It's Regine Alaina, and TikTok, but I'm only on there to watch videos because I don't know how to use TikTok. And you can follow my pageant journey. Yes, I know Galaxy is pushed another year, so continue to follow that page. It's Ms. MS Galaxy Canada on Facebook and Instagram. Where can people find you, Scott?
You can find me right here, where you're watching this very video. YouTube.com/Scott Dion Brown. I'm also on Twitch and DLive, but YouTube is the main platform where we have the most fun. You can also follow me here on Instagram and Twitter at Scott Dion Brown. If you would like to see my drawing, that's on my Instagram page. So, and you can also see it. There it is right there. But yeah, Instagram.com/Scott Dion Brown. And go over to the Red Sonja official channel and like the post there, because that's cool. They've got like, they shared my drawing. It's cool. But anyway, YouTube.com/Scott Dion Brown. I made it, guys. I made it. I'm now a professional drawer. That's the technical term, I think. Anyways,
Artist.
Yes. Artist. But like drawing art, like it's specific to like we're all artists. Like, I mean, like different arts. Anyways, ladies and gentlemen, hit that like button. Hit that subscribe button if you're new. Thank you guys for watching. And you could have watched any video on the entire internet, but you chose to spend your Sunday with us. And for that, we're so grateful. Matt, thank you so much for being here.
Thanks for having me.
I'm so
And
glad
awesome
you're
job with the music.
finally able to be a guest and not just an intro to our show.
It's true. We made it. We got we got you both on. Although
Yes.
I guess we could have had you on together, but you know what?
Next time.
We got maybe, yeah.
Yeah, let me
Well,
know.
Okay, cool. And yeah, all the best with the songs that are coming out. I'm looking forward to hearing them.
Thanks so
The
much.
two that you showed today sounded really, really cool. I'm a fan, and I'm looking
Thanks.
forward to seeing more.
Yes.
Thank you.
All right, everybody. We'll see you all next week. Enjoy the rest of this beautiful May 2-4 long weekend, and go Leafs go.
Bye.
Bye, everybody.